Hi everybody, this is TheHande Mäkinen, and welcome to yet another adventure game Let's Play, and I'm joined again by the gaming beast, Jarapka.
What's up, fellow beastians? You're one and only gaming beast here.
Yep, and continuing a tradition with this Let's Play, well, this isn't a Let's Play channel, but with my Let's Plays, but continuing the tradition of playing the second installment of a adventure game series with Retro Kaiser first, and then picking up the first game again with Darovka, we're doing Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars, which is the first Broken Sword, and a little while ago we did Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror with Retro Kaiser, and you can see that series on this channel if you're interested. But we're going to be doing Shadow of the Templars now, and I am really excited for this. Because this is a game that I've waited to Let's Play forever, and because this is, honestly, this is top 5 for me as far as adventure games go. This is one of my all-time favorites. And you just recently played through this game as well.
The last months of the year,
Right.
the end of the millennium. The city holds many
We're
memories.
we're hearing George right now, but it's a little quiet at the start here. But
Yeah, but it's the introduction. Yeah, it's
Yep.
the we're talking about the animation, and this is what I really liked about this game. How nicely it was animated, and they went with the cartoon look
oh yeah,
instead of going with rotoscoping or FMVs. And
And this very first cutscene of the game is actually done by the Don Bluth company.
yeah.
Because-
That's the thing, is that I when I watched this, it was so familiar.
Yeah, the art.
Kind of-
You could definitely tell, and especially like at Disney, even like some of the late '70s Disney movies that Don Bluth was working on. You can definitely tell when he's been like drawing the characters and everything, because he has that specific style. But
Sure.
yes, but unfortunately, this opening animation is the only one I think that Don Bluth company did, because actually with this first game, what Revolution did is that they hired several animation studios, and they all did the different parts of these cutscenes. And you can definitely tell that there's a bit of a discrepancy in the art style from one cutscene to the next.
Yeah.
And actually,
Well,
you also just recently played the second game. How did you feel the cutscenes in that game held up compared to this?
Well, they were good, definitely, but I felt like this game has a little bit more polish.
Yeah. Well, polish, yeah, for some of them. You know, some of the cutscenes in this game too do look a bit derpy. But yeah, the second game definitely doesn't look as nice. But I guess the one positive thing is that the art style is a little bit more consistent in that, because the cutscenes in that game were, I think, all made by the same studio, so they stuck with one there. But yeah, here you can see all this vivid detail.
Yep.
Yeah, this is kind of an era of gaming that I honestly miss. Is like, it was just at the very end of the 2D gaming era, at the very start of the 3D gaming era, and just as like computer game graphics were getting to this nice, lush look, then we had to start with the 3D games. And not that I love old 3D games as well. Like I'm not picky about that, but it's kind of sad that this art style had such a short lifespan in the gaming. Yeah.
I think honestly, although to a degree, because one thing that I will say with because they would say, oh, adventure games are dead, blah blah blah. They died in the '90s, but there has been adventure games being made, especially also now in recent times. They have been more popular. It's still a niche genre now, but they're still being made. And one company that has been making classic 2D style adventure games, although like at least graphically they're classic, but they have some different concepts and different style, and they're easier definitely, are the Wadget Eye games, like the Blackwell Legacy or the Shiva, or games like that, like Resonance or something.
Okay.
And they've been made with one of the things that I would recommend you is the adventure game system, because that's like an engine that somebody made, to make classic point-and-click adventure game, 2D adventure games in the style of LucasArts or Sierra.
All right.
And
here's the old guy who got blowed up. We learn a little bit later that his name's Plantart, so But so he's dead. So we have to talk to the waitress.
Yep.
Who's still alive.
Yeah, I would say for this game, like it's one of the most they went into animate like really everything. They didn't skimp on anything.
How much vodka did I drink?
Yep.
No, don't tell me. What is your name, Sherry?
George Stobart, ma'am.
Oh,
George
American.
Stobart.
She asked the question quite innocently, but I could sense her reserve. It was something which seemed to afflict all Europeans.
Yeah, this is
You look like
Rolf
a
Saxon
Negro.
again doing the voice of
Could
George.
use a little
He's
drink.
the only.
I feel sick.
I think he's one of the only recurring voice actors of the whole series. Like he's played George in all the games.
You've been knocked out.
You
But it's
don't
like
say.
the rest of the voice cast
What
gets
happened?
revamped
There's
for
been an
every game, and
explosion.
you'll actually notice
You
that
should
too when
try
you go
not
from
to
Broken
move.
Sword 1 to Broken
Are you
Sword
a
2 that
doctor?
all the voice actors are completely different.
Yeah, I did notice that,
Yes,
but
I
it's
have.
always good to have
I
at least
studied
one
under
voice.
Dr. Benjamin.
George Stobart here.
Really?
Only one of the most
Yeah.
brilliant medical.
Rolf Saxon is kind of an interesting character. He's an American actor, but he lives in England, and that's why he got cast in this, because obviously Revolution
I need
Software
a
are
drink.
located in
Call
the
me
UK.
Randy.
Yep.
Yeah, and now,
You could be in shock. No
so
alcohol.
these choices that you are given at the
You're a
beginning.
doctor. What about
I
the
lied about
man?
being a doctor, and I'm
Yeah?
told her not to have a drink. If you
Yeah.
let her drink, she basically lies to Moo later when he's taking her statement.
I gave her a drink.
Yeah, yeah.
I told her I'm not a doctor, and I gave her a drink, and I didn't tell her that he's dead.
Okay, now I did tell him that he's dead, so now the waitress fainted again.
Although I'm not quite sure yet at this point anymore.
None of this has any consequence for your character, so it's kind of just harmless fun. But it's a funny little thing you can do.
Well, it's
Yeah.
these are the kind of things you want to do multiple replays of the game to find all these solutions. You know. Like, this is the thing, is that a lot of adventure games, they will skip out the animation for you picking up shit and whatever. So, especially earlier ones, but here they, like, everything has a unique animation.
It read Sala Ed
Yeah, they had a quite there was a quite long development process for this game. I think it started like in 1994, and then they finished it. I mean, yes, they started this, pretty much immediately after Beneath the Steel Sky, and I actually we let's played that with Sendu on this channel as well.
I have.
All right,
I have
here's
watched
Moo.
some of that.
Please, hold it right there.
Whoa, don't shoot. I'm innocent. I'm an American.
Can't make up your mind, huh?
I demand to see the American
Yep,
consul.
yep.
Drop your weapons and get down on the ground.
Put that thing away, Sergeant. Move. I apologize.
Yeah, the
But
cop
I
here,
cannot
he kind
put
of
it
reminds me of Inspector
Am I under
Clouseau
arrest?
from Pink
Ah, no.
Panther.
Yeah, it does a little bit, yeah.
En avant.
Yeah, because he's also French cop and kind of derpy. Well, actually, totally derpy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's kind of funny, Rosso's kind of playing the straight man here, and
Bombing is an outrage, is it not?
yeah, and
Stop that, monsieur.
at the end of the game, we kind of discover that there's a little bit more to
Yeah,
Rosso.
he
Yeah.
does not
Holding
play
your
the
breath
straight
at once.
man. He thinks he's got psychic powers. He's derpy as well. Like he comes off as arrogant and confident, but he's more like,
Oui, monsieur.
oh, look at me, how great I am. I'll use my mind powers. It's kind of a,
Well, the one thing that really ruins Rosso for me is that very final line at the end of the game that he does. We'll get to that once we are actually at the game. There's quite a lot before that, but at
Oh,
least
yeah.
at the start
Oh, yeah.
here, like he comes off like fairly kind of
How many times
a little
have I warned you
intimidating.
about premature
a little bit, but he,
Yeah.
like it
All
falls
we know
apart
is
for me when he
that
starts
he is
trying to do his psychic powers.
Reasonable.
Oh yeah. And George doesn't take him seriously either. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was actually, when I first time played this game, I was like,
Why? He was no more
I was kind of thinking that there might have been something to the psychic powers, especially with the ending. And now that I played the second game,
Anyway, it is unlikely
things
that
have
even
become
you
at least
will
more
not
clear
want
as like,
talking
well,
to
what
the
is
dead.
possible in this world.
Examine
Okay.
the girl and take her statement, if you can.
Can you actually hear the audio from the game?
I can hear it a bit, yeah.
All right, yeah.
But I played it, so
Yeah,
I'm
the
thinking-
volume's a little low, so we might
It's
pump
fine. I
pump
can
it up
see.
during the break.
Yeah, I can see the written thing, and I know their voices. So
Your name, please.
George
Your
Stobart,
name,
from
please?
California.
Yeah, I can hear it pretty
And
much.
what
All right.
brings you to Paris, Monsieur Stobart?
And
Travel. I'm in Europe.
yeah,
You chose well. The city
Progressor
is
2
more
was
beautiful
actually
at
the
this
first
time of
game of the
year.
series that I
No?
owned, and which I played
yeah,
myself all the
I
way
guess
through.
so.
But actually, a friend of mine had this game, and we
Are
did
you in the
play
vicinity of the
pretty much the
cafe
whole
at the
thing
time
through.
of
Like,
year?
there was a little bit of the middle that I
Yeah, I was
missed
sitting out on the
because he had the game, but
I was lucky I wasn't.
I saw the
killed.
ending and everything. So
Inspector passed
this is
over my
this is a game that I was
remarks.
really
Did
hooked
you
on.
see the deceased enters the
We
cafe?
basically like all the adventure games that I played in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Again.
Actually,
What did he say again?
he said if we seen if we know anything, if we seen anything who could be the suspect or something.
No, he didn't say that yet. That comes after this. But what was the first question he asked?
Oh, no, I was actually
Now,
listening to
okay,
you,
funny
but
thing, we actually recorded this, the beginning of this Let's Play already before, but I screwed up the recording, so we're doing it again. And the
Yep.
first time, also, I wasn't paying attention to what Rosso was saying, so I have no idea what he asked us.
we're great Let's Players. Just choose one.
What?
Just choose one.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
It doesn't really matter.
Oh, he asked if we saw the suspect enter the cafe. That was the thing.
No.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
more interested in the waitress.
Because now he asked, did we see anybody else with the
Did you
suspect?
know
Ah, yeah,
anyone
yeah.
else
And
in the
it has
cafe?
the clown.
Yeah, there was a guy dressed as a clown. He was carrying an accordion.
An accordion? Bon. The picture is
But this,
all
yeah,
in
this
my
is definitely a
mind.
game that I've looked forward to Let's Playing for a long while, and we even considered doing this with Retro Kaiser, but in the end I thought Kaiser would like the second one a little bit more, because it's a bit more comedic. This one's a little bit more dark and serious. I mean, it still has a sense of humor. Like, it's
Oh
not
yes,
also-
I
yeah.
mean especially here the two cops. They're kind of like
Yeah.
Right. I didn't.
they're kind of like a comedic duo.
Eh bien,
Like
I
Rousseau
have-
has kind of an eyebrows
mean?
like freaking
I
a
am
Vulcan.
satisfied that you know nothing. You may leave. Enjoy your
All right.
vacation, Dr. Stobart.
Dr. Stobart. Yeah, because I lied about being a doctor.
What can I say?
Yeah.
And actually, yes, if you go talk to Rosso at the police station later in the game as well, he keeps calling you
Don't
doctor.
cross the road until the little man shows
Yep.
green.
Great advice.
I honestly believe you are in.
Actually, for me, I must say, when I was younger, like I knew about a lot of adventure games and I wanted to play more, but I didn't get to play as many as I wanted because, like, I didn't say this in the last recording.
Yep.
Because when we would play PC games, when we would buy PC games with my brother, we had to both decide on the game. And
Oh, yeah.
I remember he wasn't that interested in adventure games. I played some, but like I definitely knew about more than I played.
If the door
Yeah,
is only
yeah.
open-
Like I think
That's kind of been my that's kind of what got me to GOG anyway. It's kind of like finally reliving the PC gaming childhood I never had.
same here. Like for me, it was like I had a PC gaming childhood. We played a lot of
Yeah.
PC games because that's after the Super Nintendo, we decided to get a PC instead of like an N64 or PlayStation. And so we were like PC gamers, master race, pretty much. And but we would play all different games.
All right.
Oh yeah.
And here's Nico.
Me, mademoiselle?
Nico's introduction. Let's see if we can get her into a slightly more flattering position than last time.
Hi.
Oh my god, that looks horrible.
The abomination
Yeah. That's
of the blurred pixels.
Yeah, last time wasn't too bad. Like, I think her mouth was a little smooch, but now this is exactly what I was talking about on the lost recording, was the friggin' forehead.
Yeah.
It's way too big.
It's all this inbreeding, you know, in France.
Yeah. He went
Ah,
to
boy.
just before the bomb exploded. You weren't related to him, were you?
Oh no, nothing
And
like
we
that.
discovered that Nico's
Well,
already
it's-
kind of involved in the story.
Yeah. I'm Nicole Coulin.
No, it is a newspaper.
You're a
Did you
reporter.
actually...
I'm a freelance
You haven't played the
journalist.
director's cut version of this yet, have you?
No, not yet. I
Oh,
will
right.
though. But I want.
Okay, yeah, the director's cut version actually like gives us a little bit more background what Nico was doing just before this game, so it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
As just 65.
Yeah, well, the thing is about me with the remakes. I want to play the original first.
Oh yeah, and I've actually,
Usually.
I've talked. I think we talked with Retro Kaiser as well that I have a bit of a problem with the director's cut with some of the things that they changed. But anyway, what do we want to ask about? We want to ask. was about...
Who was the guy you were supposed to meet?
His name was Planter.
Yeah, here we find out
I
about
didn't know
Plantards.
him, but he called me last night. He said he had a story which would interest me. He asked me to meet him at the cafe. I guess I'll never know what he wanted to tell me.
Not unless you have Rosso's gift for psychic interrogation.
Do you know a police officer called Rosso?
Rosso? Our paths have a knack of crossing. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was deliberate. Have you seen Rosso? Is he here?
He's inside, attempting to question a witness with his psychic powers.
What? That guy is weird.
Yeah.
That guy is weird.
Yeah.
How did Plantar get your name?
Through the newspaper La Liberté. I'd written an article linking two unsolved murders.
Yeah,
One
this is
in
the,
the other
I don't
in
remember,
Japan.
I don't know the actress's name who does Nico's voice in this. I've never been a big fan of this version of Nico. Like she has some few, she has her good moments, and I do like the accent. But then she has at moments like a really high pitch to her voice that really annoys me. I quite liked. It might be just because I played Broken Sword 2 for myself, like through all the way. Like I've always been partial to the voice actress in that game. She didn't come back for the later games either, so yeah. Nicole always gets recast. I think it's only in the director's cut and Broken Sword 5. It's the same voice actress for Nicole, so that's the one exception where Nicole's actually been voiced by the same actress more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just the nature of the beast, because like because like there might not be available, or
Oh yeah, but it seems like they revamped the whole cast for the second game as well, and they did it again for the third game, and I think for the fourth game as well. I don't think there were any voice actors that came back from the third, but there was also a more. But there I can kind of understand because there was a more pronounced gap between those games.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that if it's not like a TV, like a series or something.
Yeah.
Video games take a lot of
I
time,
guess
so
so. Listen, I'll give you my phone number.
I like the voice for Nicole in the first one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely on the minority on that, actually, because it seems like a lot of people didn't like Nicole's voice in the second game, but when
I would have to, honestly, I would have to listen to both to compare them, because they just sounded to me like, the stereotypical French woman accent,
All right, I think that one thing we can still do in this part is let's go investigate this alleyway, because there's a lot of funny things here.
Yep.
That we can do. First of all, let's start climbing this pipe, this drain pipe.
See, I didn't do that. I for some reason completely missed that. Because I knew immediately, oh yeah, I gotta have to go to the sewers, right?
All right, yeah, it is kind of obvious, especially once you see the icon.
I will give them credit that they animated all these little animations. This we're just searching for shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's the black cat, because I like these kind of little moments that they're not, because this is a game that doesn't even have the Sierra score where you can do these little things, so it's really just for shits and giggles, really.
Oh yeah.
I tried to lift the cover with my fingers, but couldn't gain
I got,
leverage.
that one part. That's the one part I wish Kaiser had been here, because I'm sure we would have gotten a big Kaiser lag scream out of that.
Yep.
And also because the music swells, like they totally made that intentionally, like a kind of a jump scare.
Yep.
I remember I jumped at that point when I played this for the first time. Actually, when that's a whole story I need to tell on the second part. But let's talk to this road worker too. So we still got a little bit of time.
I thought you'd been arrested.
No, it was a
He's got the best accent.
When he pulled that gun, I thought that was it. Those automatics pack quite a punch,
He made a mistake. He thought I was a terrorist.
You, a terrorist? Ha!
Yeah, that is a pretty great voice. Yeah, that is a pretty great voice.
Did you see an old guy with a briefcase?
Wait, silly old coot. Do you know what he said to me? Work fascinates me, he says. I could watch it all day. Quel beat. I could have knocked his block off.
Did you recognize the old man?
It's kind of funny how he's like holding that pike. You know, I know he's working, but it's
No, but I guess he.
I was a bit worried that he would attack me.
Yeah.
He's dead then?
Actually, yeah. This guy comes back in the third game. They never mention it here, but his name's Flabage.
If only I could turn back
Okay.
the clock. If only
Flabage.
Flabage,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep, I'm gonna play the third game. It's the first one that is 3D.
Yeah.
And I have read in the reviews that some people didn't like the jump to 3D. It was a bit awkward.
Well, it's the controls because they're all keyboard based on that one, and I will have to say, like, yeah, the walking they could have definitely done a better job with that, but
is it tank controls?
no, but it's still it's that and tank controls would have been better than what they did with that game because the problem is like it was made for consoles definitely, and it feels a little weird when you try to walk around on the keyboard, but other than that, like the controls aren't. You know, once you get used to it, it's not too bad. But yeah, definitely a little janky. Like
Would you like to read my newspaper?
Did they go back
Actually,
to mouse controls in the fourth and fifth game?
I haven't got
well, the
that
fourth
to
game
do
is
that.
in 2D. So I mean, the fifth game is in 2D. Yes, but
10 minutes
for
if I
for the fourth game,
Oh,
they
nice.
did do
I wouldn't get that.
mouse controls again, but the fourth game is just a buggy, terrible mess anyway, so it doesn't really help at all.
I do remember. I think you were talking about it in one of your videos. That
Oh yeah.
Look at this.
I'll still play it probably for story purposes, but if it pisses me off, I'll just probably just take the walkthrough and just.
Yeah. It was really funny doing that review video for the fourth game because I played it through the first time and kind of intentionally played it badly in a way to try to get all the bugs to show up, and I didn't get that many. I think I actually got more on the run when I was actually recording, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, nice.
Bucephalus reborn, mon ami.
I'm happy they went back to 2D because, like, honestly,
Well, they didn't have the budget to go 3D, so that's the thing, because they crowdfunded the fifth game, of
okay,
course.
okay.
Yeah. But it was also, like, very intentionally, it was made very intentionally to kind of call back to the first and second game. Okay, now he leaves and we can steal his sewer key.
Well, since it was crowdfunded, I think they did it 2D also to
Oh,
appease
yeah.
the fans, because I think there's a lot of people who are fans of the first two games. So
That's the one like really bad thing about the fifth game, though. I do have to say is that if you have not played at least like the first two, then you actually there's a lot of jokes and things that just kind of will fly right over your head because they really like overloaded on a lot of in jokes in that game, which is fun. But it's like if you have not played a Broken Sword game before, then you're kind of completely lost on. They're kind of completely lost on you. But hey, we have to end it on this part.
Right.
So when we come back, more Broken Swords. See you then.